I have a really special guest today. A dear friend, a creator, a poet, and someone that I have so much love and respect for, Chioma Sheri. Chioma, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Simon. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. I see that we've also been joined by Simply E over there on Clubhouse. So I'll just bring you up on the stage here, Simply E. I'm doing well. It's been a while since. Oh, not a while actually. You missed 1 week, and it feels like you missed a year. We missed you here last week.
I know it does feel like a while.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see if Simply E is here. I want to just say hi to her. Simply E, how are you doing today? Is Simply on stage? We'll come back to you.
Oh, yeah, she's
Uh,
on right now.
yeah, we'll come back to you in just a moment. I just want to. Oh, there you go. I just want to welcome everyone. Every day we gather here and we come with an African proverb from a different part of the continent, and we dissect it. We light the village fire around it. And then Wednesdays, it's even much more sweeter because we have Chioma Sheri, who is, as I was saying earlier, an incredible poet. And our hope is that today, Chioma, which she does every Wednesday, she takes the proverb for the day and she turns it into a poem, and then we have a conversation around it. But today we will, talk about her interpretation of the proverb, talk about, talk about the three takeaways, from today's conversation, from today's episode, which my team and I prepared. But we'll also talk about, we'll talk about Chioma's views on how poetry and art in general are strong tools for healing, because today's proverb is really around healing, and it says, before healing others, heal yourself. This is a proverb from Gambia, and it's full of wisdom, and it's really important that we remember that you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot pour from an empty cup. That's going to be the center of our conversation today. And I want to invite Simply E to just introduce herself. No, Simply is not on stage yet. So Chioma, I just want you to take a moment. Once I share the three takeaways of today's conversation, I want you to take a moment and share with us your own interpretation of the proverb. Just before I carry on, I want to welcome Simply E. How are you doing today, Simply E? And where are you joining us from?
Hi, I'm well. I'm joining from the USA. I'm in Tennessee today. I'm just happy to be here. Welcome everybody to African Father in America, African Daily African Proverbs.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. We are actually live on YouTube. We are live streaming today's conversation. So if you're already there, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you're in the Clubhouse, make sure you also join the African Father in America Club. Remember, today's conversation is being recorded for, the African Father in America podcast, which is available across all podcasting platforms. Chioma, when you hear this proverb from Gambia, what is it that comes to your mind? Before healing others, heal yourself.
Well, I was actually surprised just by the simplicity of it. Because I've heard, this sort of saying before, and I was like, I'm so used to African proverbs being all about, nature and so deep and complex. But this is still deep and complex in a way. I just thought it's so much truth to that. Some of like the first things that came to mind is that like, when you're not healed yourself, you can end up like affecting others in a negative way. So I said, like, even with good intentions, you end up hurting people when you aren't healed. Like I thought of the saying, like, hurt people hurt people. Um, the also saying like you can't, like the blind can't lead the blind. And also like the scripture, there's a scripture that's about like taking the plank out of your own eye first before you take the plank out of another person's eye. And I thought of that as well. And then I also said like there's power in having like been through something, or being like going through something and being able to like speak to those people who are currently in it. But like if you're in it yourself, like it's messy. It's just messy. Like y'all both can sometimes end up like suffering. And I also thought about like how healing is not just like healing yourself doesn't mean that like you're perfect or that you'll never need like help or assistance again. Because there are people who are like, I mean, we're all like, we all affect people in different ways and we interact with people. So we should make sure we are preferably like in our best selves. But like people who are particularly like, healers, if they're like therapists, if they're like, spiritual leaders or social workers who are working directly with people, like you oftentimes, those people also, like a therapist will also need like a therapist, or a therapist also has like a therapist. So it's not like oh, um, I'm healed, so like I'm perfect. So I wouldn't want anyone to like necessarily read this proverb and think like, oh, you necessarily have to be perfect. But it is important to be at your best self. Like we should all strive to be at our best selves when we're like working with others. It's like leading from a broken place is like never best. Um, so yeah, that's kind of like what came to mind when I first heard of this proverb.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's so much you shared there that we can break down and even talk for hours and hours to really even deepen our understanding of why it's important that you heal yourself first before you heal others. Work on yourself first before you work on others. That's the theme of our conversation today. If you're just joining us, thank you. This is the African Father in America. This is the African Father in America podcast, and we are on YouTube and Clubhouse. And without the incredible village and the community that continues supporting the growth of this space, we would not be here. So I just want to pass the microphone for a moment before we continue the conversation with my special guest, Chioma Sherry. I want to invite Simply E, who has consistently helped make these Wednesday sessions possible. Simply E, share with everyone who is listening how they can be more engaged for the rest of our conversation today.
Apologies, I got the red bar for just a moment. I heard you say my name, but what was that after that, Simon?
Hey, Simply E, I just wanted you to share with everyone who is listening, how can they be more engaged with the conversation today?
So if you're in the space in Clubhouse, and I see a couple of people did raise their hand to come up on stage, if you wanted to actually give input in the space in Clubhouse, let your voice be heard, you'll want to come over to the Clubhouse space and raise your hand if you want to be pulled on stage to give a little bit of input, or if you just want to hear it in hear a different sound on stage. But also invite your friends into the space. So if you've got people who also love positive vibes, want to hear a little bit of something that's encouraging on a day-to-day basis, invite them to the club as well, and pull them in. Now, if you're on YouTube, you definitely want to, follow and join on YouTube. Make sure that you're getting those alerts whenever African Father in America is on YouTube. And so it's awesome that you've got flexibility in the different spaces wherever you're comfortable. There's Twitters, tweets going all over the place, and then on Instagram as well. So wherever you're comfortable in social media, you can go in that space. But I think it's really dope that you can give your voice to the conversation, right? Where else can you go where you can like go in multiple platforms and say, I just want to be here, or I want to give a comment on YouTube. So wherever you're comfortable is best. But I'm definitely happy to see the folks in Clubhouse who are on stage and also in the audience this morning. So, welcome to African Father in America, Daily African Proverbs.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Simply E. I truly appreciate you. And one of the things that bring me to the Wednesday sessions is the poem. I know that the proverb is going to be, turned into a poem, and that's what we are just about to go into. Chioma, you took this proverb and created a poem out of it. I want you to just share the poem and then just talk about the process a little. This is something I've never you've become so good at this, and I just wanted to understand your process of how is it that how long does it take you, what kind of space do you love to be in when you receive the proverb and work on it, and then after that, I know that we're going to talk a little more about, healing when it comes to poetry and art. I feel that these are powerful ways of healing ourselves, but I wanted to get your perspective around it and why it's important that we cultivate those those kind of talents that we might have, because those could be the avenues for healing for each one of us. So I'll pass you the mic.
All right. So I have two pieces today. The first one is very short, but the second one is longer. So I'll read both of those. I'll start with the short one. All right. Got sick trying to heal each other. Got numb trying to feel each other. And that's that one. Now the second one. Broke people fixing is like broke people mixing, but never matching. Like good intentions gone wrong. Broke people fixing, broken pieces missing, trying to find home in their job, trying to find home in the process. Broke people fixing, leaving broke people broken, cutting shards like knife meeting knife, sharp meeting sharp. Iron sharpens iron, but we cut each other open, deep cuts, trying to heal each other's deep cuts, round up our pain, wound up bleeding. We weren't as strong as we thought, or maybe we were hiding our blindness. What am I saying? What am I saying? Is that there's something sometimes deeper in broke people fixing. Ego, passion, care, unawareness, fear. Broke people want to offer something, and some days they feel they only got advice. And that's that.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Chioma, I want to give Simply just a moment to speak to, what she felt after she had these two pieces.
Yeah. So the first piece, I was like, yeah, I really like that because it was short and sweet. Shioma really got to the point with that one. But the second one, oh my goodness, that's really heartfelt because when you started talking about the mixing and doing all the, um, yeah, uh, it's like having the best intentions, but just not having the tools to do it, to do what
Yeah.
it is that you're intending to do. And intentions don't do anything. You can
Yep.
have intentions all the time, but it's the execution that makes the difference. And I think you really brought it home because you just kept hitting the point from different angles and you just kept drilling it in. I think the way that you did it just then, it should allow people to sort of hear it for themselves if they're in a place where they're doing that. I think that was a call to action just then. And not only that, but a point of reflection to just kind of sit in that moment and judge ourselves to say, okay, am I doing that? I think that was really, really awesome. And I thank you too for doing that because I think that's going to allow some people to grow. That
Mm,
that one is yeah, that's an opportunity to grow. So thank you for that,
thank,
Shioma.
thank you, Simply E. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Uh,
So welcome.
Thank you, Simply E, and thank you, Chioma. I just want to welcome everyone who is just joining us. We are live and direct on YouTube. The link is at the top of the Clubhouse room in case you've never joined us there. Once you get there, remember to subscribe to the channel. That way you can help the growth of this community and this work that we are doing. We are here discussing an amazing African proverb from Gambia, and our guest is Chioma Sheri, an incredible poet, writer, and creator. So Chioma, today's theme is around healing. You can't give what you don't have. One of the takeaways from today's episode says that you must first take care of yourself before you take care of others. And artists, poets, musicians, they're always on the stage. They're always in late at night practicing, rehearsing, giving. But do you think creatives and artists have also takes sufficient time to heal themselves before they heal others? I was listening to an interview of Ayub Ogada, who is a nyatiti player. I love playing the nyatiti, and this is one of the legendary nyatiti musicians. May his soul rest in peace. And he was speaking to how whenever he performs, he is giving away a part of his soul. And this was like towards the end of his life. So, and then he performed, and just how healing that was for me and for people who watched that video, or people who are there. And then soon after, you learn that he left. But the things he said and today's conversation are really, really connected to me, and I want you to just share your perspectives for a moment.
Okay, so just my perspectives on art and poetry being healing. Is that right, Simon?
That's right.
Okay. Well, to me, I just feel like absolutely. I feel like art and poetry are vehicles of expression, and I feel like a lot of times we we suffer, whether that be like sickness, disease, or like depression, or just we just suffer in so many ways when we don't have a space or a place or a way to express ourselves, and like be seen and heard. So for me, art and poetry are like vehicles of that. Ultimately, they're like creative things. I feel like we were creative to be creative. We're creative beings. So when we aren't allowed to do those things, we don't take the steps to do those things, we really do suffer. So for me, art and poetry absolutely is healing. I feel like life as a whole is art and poetry, and the way we engage in it is important. But I do think one thing that people have to be mindful for is, for me, I agree with you when you were talking about what's his name again, the musician.
Ayub Ogada, yeah.
So when you were talking about him, and
Yeah.
you said every time like he shares or he makes music, it's like he's sharing parts of his soul. I believe there's so much truth to that. And I feel like oftentimes we have to be really careful as artists, um, to make sure that we do heal ourselves, and that we also move in like when spirit tells us to move, because a lot of times this world is all about consumption. It's capitalist. It's all about money, money, money. And so when you make a something that's so spiritual and soulful, just attach it to something like that, and it's only about that, like you'll get sick, you'll get frustrated. And like I know for me, like writing is healing, but then it's like when I share it, there's moments where I'm thinking like, oh, what if people don't like it? Or what if I don't get likes? And this, that, and third, like that very human thing. And I have to go back. I have to go back into myself, like, wait a minute. Sometimes I got to read the poem again. I'm like, oh, the poem will speak to me. And I have to like get recentered, because poetry and like art is healing. But if you are doing it from a true place, or if you start doing it for other things, or like it can become not healing. It can bring stress to yourself. So I think those are like the two things I think about when I think of art and poetry as healing. But I do think it's important for us to create, because there are people out there, like we ourselves need the healing, but there are other people out there who are going to be healed from like what we bring to the world. And that doesn't have to be like art as in like just, oh, painting or writing or music. Like there's so many ways of expression. Maybe your art is constructing. Maybe your art is, this or cooking or whatever that is. I think it's important for us to explore those and do those, because that's I think it's like soul work. You know what I mean? It's like feeding our spirit when we do things like that. So that is my thoughts.
I agree. I agree completely. But I want you to share, if you're sitting with a group of young artists in Kisumu, Kenya, little chiomas, little poets in Kisumu, of whom we interact with all the time, actually, through the education, music, and art program at One Vibe Africa. Who knows? They could actually be watching this right now. What would you tell them in regards to taking care of themselves, before taking care of others, especially when it comes to, once you're young and you've discovered, do you know Kofi, the reggae artist? Yeah. Now look at how young she is, and she's very, very grounded. She's so focused. I'm sure she has a strong support system that allows her to create at that level, but also take care of herself. And you can see it in the music, but she's just a very small percentage of artists or poets that have that kind of support system, but that are also operating at that level. But many don't even know Kofi, and once you begin getting recognition, once you begin growing, but you're still too young, you're growing in terms of your career as an artist, then you begin to forget about yourself. You begin even to forget that you are probably still a teenager or a child. And, I wanted you to just share your perspective if you're sitting with a group of young, thriving creatives. For example, if you're looking at Kenya right now, there is an election coming up next month, early next month. And majority of the voters are people in their mid-20s, to early 30s, young people. So most of them are consuming election information through art. So poets and artists have actually been getting a lot of gigs, even visual artists, because it's campaign season. But then it's also, if you look at the trend in some of the cases that have been studied in the Kenyan music or creative scene, there are a lot of artists who have not endured the test of time just because of what we're discussing today. Giving, but not, taking care of yourself.
I think, well, one thing I think is important too is that sometimes it's important to like step back, and not necessarily from the art, but from the putting out for consumption. Like sometimes you need to just go back within yourself, spend time with yourself, get into your quiet, and not necessarily be in the public space sometimes. There's an artist I really like. His name is called Same Thing Soweto, and he's a South African artist. And I just remember like he was like gone for some time and everyone's like, what's wrong? This, that, and third, and this, like all sorts of stuff, and he would every once in a while maybe like check in. It's like, I'm just like trying to like heal some things, go through this and yeah, but I'm, don't worry, y'all. I'm I'm okay. Music is gonna come, but let me, I need to work on me. And then when he did come out with something, he came out with his song, and it's like, woo! It was like number one on Apple Music in South Africa, and it was just so beautiful, and it was so soulful and so rich, and I was like, this is it's worth the wait. I'm just grateful that he also like had time to just like take care of himself. But that's like my one, like I guess like one advice is like sometimes you should definitely need to step back, get into yourself, maybe get back connected to your community. I know a lot of times I find myself also inspired by like works of others. So like sometimes I'm just by myself, maybe I'm reading a little Maya Angelou poem or something like that. Like just stepping back, I think sometimes, and also just knowing that what what you think about your art is really the most important. How you feel about the work you made is really the most important. And like if you feel good about something that you made, don't let any other thing shouldn't affect that. Like I remember I put like a poem out and I was feeling it. I was like, oh my goodness, this poem is a hitter. It's great. I put it out, ain't really get likes. I was like, okay, y'all wasn't feeling it. But I was like, you know what? I was feeling it. And that's all that matters. And then it's crazy because I had like a friend who like hit me up later, was just like, that poem. And I was like, oh, really? You like that poem? Nobody else did, but that's cool. So the thing is like, don't let the outside affect what you were called to do. Like if you were called to do it, like if spirit called you to do it, God called you to do it, if you really feel like that's your purpose, don't let these people that's just talking, because some people will just be talking and they ain't really doing the work that you're doing. So like don't let people sway you. And then there are times where you need to actually like step back, and that's okay. That's okay. So those are kind of like the two things that popped up in my head like right away.
I agree. I could listen to you for a long time, and I want to say that if any creative or poet or artist or podcaster was listening to the last few minutes of what Chioma was saying, I hope you've taken notes. But I just want to welcome everyone who is just joining us. From Bibi, Sarah, Cabs, Crystal, Roger, all of you are welcome. I see Des and T-Des and Mag and Lady Lion and Fred and Zize and Steve, Ash and Coach and Shana. Thank you for being with us. Shanaha, thank you for being with us. And I also see, of course, Simply Is here with us, and Shimere and Stella and Rushi and Christine. You are all welcome. This is a beautiful space that we've been cultivating since January 2021, and we gather here, discuss African proverbs, and really make our ancestors proud. And Wednesdays it's even heightened because Chioma takes these African proverbs and turns them into poems. So thank you for taking your time and joining us. In just a moment, we are going to be hearing from everyone on stage. Chioma, I just want to thank you again for always making time and contributing to the growth of this space. And I want to make sure everyone who is listening and watching prepares to support you. In about 15 or so minutes, I'm going to ask you to share with us, how can we support you? Where can we go to do something that that makes you happy and makes you feel supported by your village. For now, though, I want to go to Simply E just quickly. Simply E, I just want you to take a moment, share with us your own interpretation of today's proverb. Christine, I'm going to mute you if that's okay. I don't think you intended to unmute. So Simply E, if you just share your own interpretation and also share your perspective in regards to the conversation we are having with Chioma today. Thank you.
Yes, Chioma, thank you so much again for that point. And I missed you last week. um, so
Miss you
healing
too.
other before healing others, uh, before healing others, try healing yourself. And this is so, I've been in that space before, where I was trying to heal other people and help and do this and the other. But it was an avoidance. So I was trying to run away from myself because you never can. But I was trying to run away from my problem and myself and having to look in the mirror. That's why I could really resonate with the way you put the poem together today, Chioma. And I know for a fact that somebody's going to hear that and grow. And that's why I said that, because I've been in that space before where something urged me to just look at myself. And I had to take a break as well. Like you're saying, your friend did. I had to take a break, and I had to stop thinking about what other people were thinking, what they were feeling. And I had to make the time and be selfish, and actually take that time to go in and heal. And sometimes when you're healing, um, it's a quick thing, but sometimes it's not such a fast thing. It's oh, I'm getting on the path to heal, and then while you're doing other things. So, and then sometimes it's, I got to drop all this other stuff so I can do this thing. So, I mean, I think people should be aware of that, depending on what they have going on in their lives, depending on their schedule, and then depending on who's depending on them, knowing if you can take the time. Because if you're so blessed that you can take the time when you need to heal to put yourself first, you should really do that. Because what you're going to give back to yourself after that, and what a difference it's going to make as far as how you move in the rest of your life and how you're looking to other people, is going to be impacted. And a lot of times people see us in a way, um, that we don't necessarily know they see us in, because we're not in a healed space. But just know that that's what's most important, is to heal yourself. Cloud out what other people are thinking. You got to be okay with yourself. So at the end of the day, you're able to move around, apologies, you're able to move around in a healthy way, whether that's physical or mental. It makes a difference. And thank you, Simon, for the opportunity to be able to speak on this. I just think this is such an important proverb, because it speaks to self-care. It speaks to mental health. It speaks to the man in the mirror. It just speaks to so many things about self when we're in a world where people say we should be humble. Um, this is something that you have to do and be selfish about. Thank you.
Yes, you're most welcome. Yeah, you have to be selfish about taking care of yourself. You have to prioritize yourself. That's really important. I want to move on to Chimere. Chimere, how are you? Where are you joining us from? And what is your interpretation of today's proverb from Gambia? The proverb says that before healing others, heal yourself. Thank you so much.
Greetings. I'm calling from Alabama today. How are you guys doing?
We are doing
Um,
great. Thank you.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Shamir.
Hey, it means a lot. It's something that I had to learn myself because I was so damaged myself, and in the process of being damaged, I was trying others from going through what I went through, but I wasn't properly healed myself. So when I hear that Proverbs, I'm actually in that space now where I had to step back and actually really care about Shamir and make sure Shamir is properly healing. So I don't know. That's just where I'm at with that.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I'm definitely reminded to also, pay attention to me. So this conversation is good for me. It's really a wake up call. And I'm also happy that I'm doing some work. I'm also doing some work on myself that I'm very proud of. There's work I do on myself daily, including this space, including the daily African Proverbs. This for me is a healing space because it allows me to stop and reflect and research a little bit, and also think about what I'm saying. Why am I saying it? Is it really related to the proverb that we are discussing? So for me, I love this space because it really fulfills this purpose for me. But I want to invite our next guest, Stella. Before Stella speaks, I want to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link is at the top of the room. We have really, really great videos on my channel, most of which come from this conversation. We are live streaming it, and so you should check it out, engage with some of the content there, and we will be replying. I will be personally replying to some of your comments there. Now, Stella, how are you? Thank you for all the support. You continue giving me and this important work that we are doing together. Share with us where you're joining from, what today's proverb from Gambia means to you, and also, if you have any comments to Chioma, it's welcome.
Thank you, Simon. Hello, everyone. This is Stella from Kenya. And I'm glad that I came across this proverb today because personally, I believe that this proverb is a summary of this podcast and this room, because I've always said that this podcast is therapeutic. If I was told to describe this podcast in one word, I would say it's therapeutic. Simply because when I first started listening, the first time I listened, there was this proverb. I can't quite remember the exact proverb, but it was about soup and chicken and something like that. And the speaker was just, I don't know, she made me feel like there was something inside me that I needed to let go and stuff like that. And I was like, yes, this podcast is for me. And I wanted to keep listening. And I can confidently say that now, compared to when I started listening, I feel much better, because those days I can say that I was so fragile. But nowadays it keeps getting better. So it's just reminding me of the days I started listening, and I would confidently say that this podcast is therapeutic. Yes, and then I want to agree with Chioma when she was saying that we are not saying that we are perfect in relation to this proverb, but we are simply saying that, I would say we are simply saying that we are always striving to become. We are always becoming, like we keep going for more for ourselves, because then is when we can keep pouring onto others. And today I was reading some article where someone was saying that this life is all about identifying your problem and coming up with a solution. Then you try to share your solution with others, and you'll be surprised how many people will be inspired and how many people will learn from you, from the solution that you offer after you've shared your problem and how you overcame it. Yeah, so I would really say that this proverb is so huge and so deep, because I can go on and on and on and on. But again, I would also say that it's encouraging us to soar, like to keep striving. Just don't settle. Don't think that you have it all together. Always keep going, keep pressing on, and all that. Otherwise, I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy for everyone who is here. And thank you. I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Stella, for sharing with us really powerful thoughts about this space, and excellent contribution to today's topic. Thank you so much. Chioma is nodding. I'm sure she's taking notes, and she's going to be giving, just her reflection on everything that all our speakers are sharing before we end our time together today in about 20 minutes. Rushi, how are you doing, my brother? Where are you joining us from? What's your thought on this proverb, and any comments to my special guest?
Hello, Simon. Yes, I am calling from Seattle today. It's a nice, beautiful day. Sun will be out soon, I guess. I agree with Stella in reference to this proverb. This proverb is pretty much the essence of what this room is about. This proverb also, I believe, is pretty much a foundational proverb that you should live by, but it's also a proverb that is so connected to so many other proverbs that are so meaningful that we have spoken about in this room. For one that comes to mind is, I remember a proverb that we spoke about that says something like, a wound heals, but a scar remains. And that comes to mind a lot when I see this proverb that speaks about healing yourself before you heal others, because you can't really heal anyone until you heal yourself first. And sometimes the things we need to be healed by are from others, or it can be self-inflicted wounds that we need to work on. I know for myself, I usually start my day with self-affirmations. I always say to myself, when times get hard, I always say I need to one myself, which means that, just take some time, be present, be still in the moment, and be grateful of where I am. And also, I know we look at mistakes as wounds, so just say to myself, I am not the mistakes I've made in my past. And these are things I do to heal myself. And once I feel that I've healed myself on whatever I am going through at the moment, then I can give to others in that realm of giving. So it's a very great, deep proverb. You have to heal yourself. You have to win yourself. You have to win yourself is also what I tell myself. I wake up and I say, I have won myself for the day, WON. I have completed what I needed to complete, and I will be great. So it's definitely a great proverb about you have to heal yourself. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Rushi, for your contribution. I just love how you just simply, you make it simple. You make it easier to do, you make it easier to do. I just appreciate it. I want to listen to Christine for a moment, and then Shanana, and then Ash and Kea before we come back to you, Chioma. Again, if you're joining us, today is Wednesday, and Wednesdays we focus on poetry, and we have a special guest, Chioma, and also we have another special guest, Simply E, both of whom are really, really great poets. So I really feel privileged. The last time we were together here, Chioma, I was joking that one of my dreams has always been to be a poet, and I was saying that I don't need to be a poet because I have so many great poets around me, and so I just wanted to say that, if you have healers around you, you'll have, a bit of pieces and slices of healing from them too, So just be mindful about people that also around you. Are they working on themselves? Are they trying to heal themselves? Because, you'll get a little bit from those people that are around you, and you'll be able to, better yourself as well. But for now, I want to continue on. Christine, please share your perspectives. Let us know where you're joining us from and what today's proverb from Gambia means to you. Before healing others, heal yourself. If you have any comment to our guest, go ahead and share it. Okay, Christine, when you're ready, just, tap your microphone. It's on the bottom right corner, and we will be able to give you space. We'll go to Christine, carry on.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was trying to figure it out. Thank God that you gave the instructions. So yes, I am Christine, and I am in Harrisburg. It's a town in central Pennsylvania. It's actually the capital city, but of Pennsylvania, but it's a little town, and that's from where I'm calling. I'm originally from Cameroon, but I've been in the US for quite some time now. And I always log into this club, and especially and I've been listening once in a while. And this morning it's like, I think God really wanted me to be on it, because when I started listening to Chioma and everything else that was being shared, I was like, wow, there's no coincidences with God. This Friday, me and a bunch of local artists, we're actually having a panel discussion, and we're going to be talking about the art of healing. Unfortunately, it's not online. It's going to be a face-to-face event. And we are focused on talking about how art, basically the written art, the illustrations, those that painting and everything. I do more of a written and a spoken art. I do a little bit of poetry at the side too. And we want to share how this has helped us in our own journey, overcoming trauma, overcoming hurt, and overcoming all those negativity that's happened to us in our journey. And one of the points for me that always stands out is the fact that art is all about vulnerability. You have to be open, you have to be authentic, and you cannot be open and authentic if you're holding on to certain things, because the spirit. I mean, I believe in God. I believe that art is a form of God using us to communicate to people, and for Him to use you as a vessel, you have to be empty. Because if he's pouring things in you and you have all the other things going on, what are you pouring back to other people? And on, what we sometimes as artists fail to understand is that, and when I'm talking artists, I'm talking everybody, even you, Simon, who's using this platform, you're pouring out to people. What sometimes we fail to understand is that people notice when you're not authentic. People notice when you're not vulnerable, when you're not yourself. But sometimes we think, oh, we'll just sail, we'll just sail by, with our hurt, with everything that is going on in our lives, and we'll still do the show. No, this is not about show. This is about God using you to heal other people. And to be able to heal other people, you have to be also on the journey to healing yourself. We are not saying, I don't believe that we will all get to a point where we are on this earth anywhere, where we are perfectly healed. That's never going to happen. We are not perfect human beings, but we are on the journey. And as long as you're on that journey to healing, then you can heal other people. Then God can use your art, what you're saying, what you're writing, what you're painting to reach other people. And to be able to be on that journey to heal yourself, you have to admit that, you know what, I am a broken human being, but God is still able to use me. And I want to be used. I want to deal with those issues that are preventing me from being used. And of course, time off is necessary. That's a must. You have to take time off. You have to take time where you're communicating with God. Take time when the phone is switched off, everything is switched off, and it's just you and the Father speaking, so that He too can show those places in your life that needs you to be working on at that moment. And when you've worked on those, then you can move on to that journey and start showing other people, hey, this is the light. This is how you deal with such issues. Okay, thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure being here this morning with us here. Thank you, Simon.
You're most welcome, Christine. Thank you for your continued support and your incredible contribution. Shanana, how are you? Briefly share with us your perspectives as well. Thank you for being here. Share with us your thoughts on the proverb. And if you have any comment to Chioma, who is my special guest, go ahead and share as well.
Yes, good morning. My name is Shanana, and I'm reaching you all from Bloomington in Illinois. I think I came in late and I didn't get to listen to Chioma talk, but from the responses of all the speakers, I could invariably deduce what must have been said. And I would just like to point out something here. Most of us agree that we need to be selfish to be able to do what is required of all of us. Being selfish, somehow, it's not a good word. I think the dictionary needs to change that because, yes, we all need to be selfish. Probably we'll find another word for it. At the same time, I would also like to bring to fore um, what Chioma must have said, must have recited. Is it also the same thing as loving yourself before you can love someone else? So, I mean, it's almost synonymous to each other, and it's a fact. I mean, I believe so much in it, and I don't think you can actually show love if you don't first of all love yourself. And at the same time, you cannot heal other people if you haven't been healed as well. It's just like when you're in a plane and the plane is going down. They always tell all the passengers, make sure you put the mask on your face first before you do that to even your own child, your husband, your wife, your friend, anybody beside you. So is that selfishness? It's difficult to understand that, but I believe so much in what has been said. And I think to move on in life, we have to first of all heal ourselves, love ourselves, be able to be there for the next person, and that's how the world revolves. So I mean, it's a good work. I mean, I just came into this room and I feel, it's compulsory that we Africans sometimes we talk like Africans and we come together like Africans. So kudos to you, Simon. Kudos to you, Chioma, and Simply E. Nice to be here.
Thank you so much, Shanna. Let's hear from Ash. Ash, how are you? And briefly share with us your own perspective on today's conversation.
Thank y'all for having me so much. It's a blessing to be here. Christine had the thought that I had about pour into an empty vessel. How can you pour into someone and you're an empty vessel yourself? But I'll say this, as being an artist, you be creative. Somehow you can switch it up when you don't want to be saying the same thing repetitive. So I say this as I was taught as a kid, about Jesus with the well and the lady he met at the well. God told him that Jesus said that he will give her, waters which she'll never quench of thirst, And so it's like this too. As I was taught in school, if you have an empty cup, how can you give water to someone else? You see what I'm talking about? You got to at least be half full. If you half full, you can at least share with someone else. So you got to first heal yourself, within, find something within yourself of something that you can heal yourself with, to get over the hurdles of life, the humps of life, the trials and tribulations thrown at you. Find it within yourself to heal yourself first before you can go out and try to heal someone else, because you will only damage yourself more and the other person, and even the relationships that comes in life, and not only companionship, but such as friendship, family, and even the people who you work with, your employees and everything like that. So you got to learn to heal yourself first before you can heal others, because it only be a cycle of corruption. So thank you so much for
You're
listening.
welcome. Thank you, Ash. Kea, I'll come to you briefly, and then we'll go to Dr. Paul Dr. Paul Toot before we go to Chioma to close us out. Kea, go ahead and share your perspectives briefly.
Well, thank you, Simon, and hi, everybody. Yes, to make a long story short, I do believe that we need to heal ourselves first. I'm a healer myself, and I know a lot of healers who have not sorted their own issues, and at the end of the day, they tend, including psychiatrists and psychologists and a lot of these people, they have not necessarily sorted their own issues. And I've met some of them who we're still projecting. And I believe that to be a good healer, and it depends on the kind of healing we're talking, of course. But it's very difficult to give from an empty cup, and it's difficult to see clearly from a mind that is not clear with itself, if that makes any sense. So for me, I had to heal myself from a disease that was incurable, degenerative, and terminal under 3 years. And that's a long time ago. My son was little and he's now 23. So I do apply this myself. I've healed myself first, and then I can offer people to be accompanied or guided on a path which is still kind of new, not really necessarily well known from the mass, but that works. I'm the living proof of it. So I understand you want to close the room, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Yes, heal ourselves first, and then we can assist others. Thank you.
Thank you, Kia. For sure, I would love to have you again here. Remember, we are here Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for exactly an hour, because this is being recorded for the African Father in America podcast. Dr. Paul Toot, share with us your perspectives briefly. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Simon. My name is Dr. Paul Toot, and when I hear this proverb, two words comes to mind. One is responsibility, and the other is knowledge. For someone to heal themselves, there's a certain amount of knowledge that must be obtained to know what it is you are trying to heal and how to heal it. Also, there's a certain level of responsibility that takes place for one to look for those ailments in themselves. And then once you go through that process, I think that is the beauty of this proverb. By healing yourself first, you are no longer the same person you were before you were healed. You are now different, not only in the amount of knowledge and wisdom and understanding you have, but also in the amount of compassion that you have. And now you can identify the same problem that you had, you may now be able to identify it in others. And because you took the time to learn how to heal, you are now in a better place to heal somebody else. So that's what jumped in my mind when I heard this proverb. Wonderful room, Simon. I just wanted to share that real quickly. I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Paul Toot, for joining us. It means a lot. And thank you for the incredible work you do in the world, to heal people, through the works of your hands. Now, Chioma, share with us in closing your reflections and how we can support you.
All right. So I'm going to just share some things that I guess stood out to me. And sometimes those things are oftentimes poetic as well. I feel like poetic in some ways. But Simply E mentioned that it's that sometimes we have to be selfish about our healing, and I really just appreciated that she mentioned how some folks have the privilege, are in a space where they can really go out and get healed, and that this is when, especially when you have that privilege. I mean, everyone can take the step to healing, but if you're in a space where you can really, you have the finances, you have the time, you have no one really depending on you, for you not to heal is a kind of a disservice. You need to get healed. So I just appreciated you saying that. Stella, I like how you said we are always striving to become, we are always becoming. And so that, as long as we're on that path of always striving to be better and just to becoming, we're on a good path. Ruchi, I really appreciated you saying I am not the mistakes I made in the past. And you also said that sometimes the healing that the things we need to be healed from is not just from others, but sometimes it can be self-inflicted. And I was like, oh, I just made me thought of what are some things that I need to heal from? What are ways that I've harmed myself that I need to, forgive and heal myself from? Shanana. Hopefully I got your name okay.
Shanana, yeah. Shanana.
Shanana. I did not say that quote that you said, but I love and appreciate you saying like loving yourself before you can love someone else, because I really do believe that that is true. Before you can love someone else well, you do need to love yourself. And Dr. Paul, just like you pulling out responsibility and knowledge, and just kind of like echoing like what Rushi said is like, healing yourself first, you are no longer the same person. So you don't have to like, you're no longer like identified with your mistakes, so those are some of the things that like stuck out to me. And also, Christine, you said like art is about vulnerability and you have to be authentic, and I was like, I feel like that's so true, because there's moments when if I'm writing something and it's not authentic, oh, I can feel it, and I'm like, why you doing that? So it's so true. So yeah, those are some of my takeaways. I really do appreciate this room and everybody who shared today. Like, it's just such a blessing to just hear from so many people across the globe, and to hear from our ancestors. So yeah, thank you so much, Simon, for this space. I agree with the echoing that this space is therapeutic, because it has been that for me since I started. Like, whoa, a while ago when I was just a listener. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course.
Can
Chioma.
I say something?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to not be rude and wait till she finished. All right. So I wanted to say too, also I went to a university where I studied about psychology. So, also in the human mind, we should not be in denial when we need healing ourselves. That's the first ground rule of healing, to know and to be aware that you need healing and not to be in denial. Because if you're in denial, then you can't heal. You can't heal properly. So, thank you.
Yeah, that's so powerful. That's so powerful. Yeah, I've been looking for like a black or African therapist for a while here in Seattle, exactly because of that. Because I know I need healing. I know I pursue healing through many different ways, but I feel that the next level is finding an African or black therapist, someone who would understand my challenges, and someone who can also understand my mind.
Same.
Because yeah, because what you said reminded me about that. So if you have a connection and you're listening, let me know. Now that's how you heal yourself. Through your community, you find the connections, because the help is right here. The help is right here. Chioma, how can we help you though?
Honestly, you can help me by helping Simon find a therapist, and me as well. But seriously, you can help me by just supporting my like work. Whether that's reading, sharing, commenting. Also, I have on my IG, I have like links to stuff in my link tree. So just like checking out those and like supporting things that I support or believe in. And yeah, just continue coming to this space, and we're talking about healing. I think we can all support each other through healing. I think that's the biggest thing. We can all support each other while to striving to be our best selves. So that's all I have right now. Thank y'all so much for this space, and also thank you, Simply E.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thank you, Simply E. And I want you to follow Stella and DM her if you want to be a guest in the African Father in America podcast. We are looking for guests, and you could be the next person that we are interviewing and having a conversation with, like we are doing with Chioma right now. If you didn't know, we are live streaming on YouTube. Go ahead, Chioma.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge someone on YouTube. Can I vent? I just want to share a little bit about what they said. They said, in regards to this proverb, they said, we are all on a healing journey already. We have to be mindful of this on the daily, be intentional, and be gentle with yourself and your loved ones. And I just wanted to acknowledge that and just say I appreciated that share. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the goddess. She's a very regular attendee and supporter of the Daily African Proverbs. Goddess, thank you for joining us. The goddess is in New York at the moment. Again, Chioma, thank you. I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone on the Clubhouse space, from Cheryl to Mo, Jay, Fred, Zizi, Latanja, Bibi. There are a lot of people here who have literally built this space brick by brick, and just seeing you all in the space right now means so much to me. We had over 63 people that came in and out of this session today, and I hope that you can continue letting people know that we are still doing this. We've been doing this so consistently since January 2021, and we are going to stay persistent, and we are going to continue pushing this work. And so stay connected and be involved. With that, Chioma, thank you. Have a beautiful day, and to everyone else, have a beautiful day or evening. Peace and love.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.